Okay, so you want to mark the waist. Okay, and I'm just going to mark right along the middle and just put some dots. Okay, and then you're going to mark the hip line. And you're gonna, or the side seam, and you're gonna mark this all the way down to the hip. Okay, then I'm gonna stop because below the hip it's a straight line. So now I can just go down to the bottom of my dress form and put in a mark. That will be straight. Okay, the next thing you're gonna do is you wanna mark your hem. Okay, so I'm gonna mark it, and I'll start here, and I can go down to about, like, let's say I can go down to about here. So then, like, let's say I want to do, I could do 33 inches. Okay, then you're going to put a pin there, okay, and you're going to mark your hem along the edge. Now, that's when you'll definitely want to be sitting down, okay? I'm not sitting down, but I'm just going to put in a few. You'll want to put in more than that. And then when you, on the edges, it's a little easier, but when you get to where it's, there's folded, just take a fold, you know, take a fold of the fabric, and you can put a pin there. So I can just take my fabric and kind of grab, like pinch it, and then mark it. Okay, so I'm going to do one, I'm going to do two more, one along center front and one on this fold. So here's this along center front. Okay, and then one, I'll just go along here and do it. Okay, all right, so I've got everything marked, so I'm ready to take it off. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and mark the hems, and we'll see. I wasn't real accurate because I wasn't sitting in front. Okay, you guys can be a little bit more accurate and put in more pins where the hem is. Okay, so let's go straight down. Okay, all right, so the next thing is, now this right here is a curve, but the more flare you put in, the squarer this is gonna be, or straighter. But you can see right here that it's a little bit more curved. So you can get a vary form to mark that. Okay, and then right here, I can go straight. This was with the bottom of the dress form. This one I could see was off. So I'm just gonna go straight like that. So there's my side seam. And then right here, I can follow this curve. Okay, and you guys can use it, and you see where I ran out a little bit. And then you want to look at your dots here and say, oh, they all look good, but like this one's kind of off. So I'm just gonna draw more in line with all the other ones. So it'll be kind of like that, only a dress, very formal will help you to make that a little straighter. Okay, then I need to do this. Okay, and you can see that I should have marked, you know, I could have marked a few more places here, but I'm just gonna go with this. So I'm just gonna kind of bring that up. I think I need to go kind of in the middle of those two. There, okay? All right, so there. Now, as far as your seam allowances, even though this looks straight, it's still curved here. You're gonna wanna do a 1/2 inch here. Okay, and I'm gonna trim this, but I'm not as accurate as you'll be when you do it, because I want to show you. And I want to do it kind of quick. So I'm just got a 1/2 inch there. Okay. All right, and then I am going to take it off and do the hem and the waist, okay? So let's go ahead and finish trimming. Okay, and what I did here at the corner, you guys aren't gonna do. You're gonna give it a little bit less flare. Okay, so there's my 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to trim here at the hem. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there it is. And you want to make sure you get your waist. I would do a few more slashes. Okay. Okay, once you get that done, then you're going to want to put it back on the dress form and make sure that it's good. Okay, so I'm going to put it here. And when I put it back, it should create the flare without having, I mean, it should show the flare, but I'm gonna put a pin right where the flare should be and pull it up pretty good so that you can see, like put a pin in there so you can see where, should be able to see the flare. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this over and you can see I've got, if you want, if it's easier, you can go ahead and pin in your ease. Sometimes that's a little bit easier because then it'll go on your dress form a little bit better. And I'll just keep pinning this. Pin this here. Okay. All right. And you can see where the flare is. And if you're looking at it and saying, I can't see that flare, just if you pull that up a little bit, then that usually helps. And if I pull this one up a little bit, then you can, it kind of defines it, the flare better. Okay, and this might be a little bit, pull this over just a little bit. It was a little too tight right there. There, can you see that? So you can see the distinct flare cones right here. And it goes right up to where I wanted it. And this one up right where I want it. And then, yeah, and you can see I've put quite a bit of flare in. You can put less flare in and then you won't run out of seam allowance here. Yeah.
Do you have to redraw the hip line?
No, we don't need it. Yeah, the only thing we really needed it was just to help us get this where we wanted it. And then it just kind of shows you how it drops. And see, this dress form, she's kind of curvy. So if you wanted to pin this in, you could, but you don't really have to. But you can see that helps. Because really, when you put it back on the dress form, you can just kind of let it, you can see what it's gonna look like.
How did you incorporate these? Did you put it in the seam?
I put it right here in the seam.
The waist?
Yeah, the waist seam. And I just pinched it and put in a pin 1/8 of an inch, so that gave me my 1/4. And then you wanna make sure that you don't have it so tight. Okay, and then this is following, you want it to follow your, like this one is following right here on this side. This goes here. I can, there. And see, I can even just, I mean, you can even just leave that because it looks better, doesn't it? It looks better on a dress form when it's not as pinned down, but I'm pinning it down so you can show. Anyway, there you have it.